The Souls games are beautiful. From Dark Souls itself all the way to Elden Ring, these games have a profound beauty to them that I don't think many other modern developers can match. Of course, I'm not the first to say this. FromSoftware's games are lauded by many for their impact both on those that play them and on modern gaming overall, but they're often praised for teaching persistence, or the power of not giving up. Personally, I credit them for teaching me the opposite, for teaching me to give up.
I can explain. Let me explain.
I never used to like the Souls games. I tried at various stages of my life to buy into Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, but the punishing nature of the games just never seemed to land in the right way for me. I sucked at them, and I didn't care enough about sucking at them to improve, and I just ended up blaming the games themselves because they were quote, too hard. That was until I played Elden Ring, and suddenly the beauty of these games just clicked for me, and I was able to go back and enjoy the titles that I'd previously written off when I was younger. It's hard to say anything about Elden Ring that hasn't been said before. It's an incredible adventure and my favourite game of all time. My first foray into the lands between was incredibly important to me and honestly life-changing. I launched the game somewhat hesitantly. I sort of just expected to play 20 minutes and quit like every other time I tried a Souls game. Like many of the Souls games, Elden Ring's opening tutorial is a baptism by fire, and I died pretty immediately to the grafted scion. And as usual, my overwhelming feeling was one of defeat. I thought, well, there it is. Guess I'm still not good enough to enjoy these games yet. I'm lucky enough though that one of my best friends is a huge FromSoftware fan and had already played Elden Ring and really pushed me to keep going. I did, and as the world soon opened up to me and I saw Limgrave for the first time, I was blown away. I'd never gotten far enough in any of the games to see anything as beautiful as this before. Obviously the other games don't open up in quite the same way, but I was never getting out of the tutorial areas before I'd quit. I had this moment, looking at the environment and the adventure ahead of me, where I realised I'd probably missed so much of this beauty before. I wanted so badly to love this one now. I was pretty swiftly put back in my place by the tree sentinel that's so generously placed right by that opening area, so I decided to just swerve it and continue on my adventure. Only at a certain point the continue part became confusing. I spoke in my recent Zelda video about how the recent games don't offer the player much direction, but rather they ask you to self-direct and experience the adventure your own way. Elden Ring is quite similar. There's not necessarily a correct path to take, and NPCs are vague in their directions, and it's really easy to feel lost. The game begs you to explore, to learn about the lands between and the lore in the same way you learn about the world, through interacting with both it and the people that live in it. I was easily frustrated by this at first. I remember repeatedly going to my friend and asking her, where do I go next? Her answer, always, was wherever you want to. I kept looking for clues in everything to find some direction. I would see a message on the floor that said, try jumping right on the edge of a cliff, and assume it was a genuine word of advice. Eventually, somehow, I found Stormvale and with it Margit. I must have fought him 20 times in a row, each time making no progress, and to my friend's delight getting angrier and angrier each time. She'd laugh at me every time I complained about the fight being unfair, or every time I asked if there was a way to cheese him. I got so worked up over it, so angry. I kept thinking, good, this is the point, you're meant to get angry and then use that anger to fight better next time. But no matter how hard I tried, no matter how angry I got, I just couldn't beat him. It's what happened next that made me love the Souls games. I need to give you some context here. 6 or 7 months before I played Elden Ring, somebody that I worked with became abusive and harassed myself and some of the important people around me. Namely, they targeted me and my girlfriend. I like to think that I have a thick skin. It's not that I'm impervious to things like this, but it takes a while for me to realise something is affecting me in terms of the way people treat me. I was bullied so much growing up that I often find myself using my own experience as a frame of reference and thinking, sure, this sucks, but I've been through worse, so I can't let it bother me. The problem though is when you begin to start targeting the people I care about, then I get mad. When I was diagnosed with autism, one of the things that was emphasised in my diagnosis report was how obvious it was that I had a strong sense of justice and advocated for what I believe is right. And I think that comes into play here too. I saw people, my girlfriend included, being nothing but kind, understanding and compassionate with this person in question, only for them to target them in their private lives, online and at work, and I felt like that was wrong. But I also couldn't do anything about it. We reported the situation and nothing was done, so we moved on and just accepted that we were going to have to be around this person and put up with it. But that never sat right with me. I was really angry about the way we'd been treated, but there was nothing I could do. This hung over me like a cloud for all those months. I wanted closure of any kind about the whole situation, whether that was that person finally being spoken to by those in charge about their actions, or an apology, just something. I felt like them getting away with it without any repercussions was them winning, and that made me so desperate to win myself. Eventually the others forgave and began rebuilding a better working relationship with them, but I just couldn't allow myself to. It felt like I would be giving up. To forgive them for the way they treated us without so much as an apology, that would be handing them a win when they didn't deserve it. So I just went on keeping my distance, thinking that I was winning by not allowing myself to forgive them, by continually judging them. But like I said, everyone else had moved on. In refusing to let go of my anger, I didn't end up winning anything, I just ended up being alone. You might be wondering what all this has to do with the Souls games. Well, let me explain. I gave up on Margit and went exploring Limgrave to try and level up. I beat Leonine Misbegotten, and I beat a few other small bosses too. I got Bloodhound's Fang, and when I reapproached Margit, my entire outlook had changed. You see, those smaller fights I knew were optional. I was doing them out of choice. I wanted to get better. But because they were optional, because it was my own choice, I refused to get angry at them. Instead of getting angry every time I died, I simply tried to take it on the chin. Every death taught me something new about the enemy to inform how I would approach the fight better next time. And so, as I reapproached Margit, I gave up on my anger. It was only blinding me. I noticed messages on the floor in the lead up to the fight that I had never seen in my previous rage-induced runs. Messages that said, "You got this." I went in and I fought him and I died. I looked at that message again, "You got this." Then I died again, but it didn't matter. There were people out there who believed in me, leaving messages to tell me I got this. I beat him third try. I went on to beat the game 4 times this way, letting go of my anger and taking everything as an opportunity to learn and move forwards, and it changed my life. In our refusal to let go of our anger, we often lose sight of the support we do have around us. After each boss in Elden Ring, or even any Souls game, you can find messages that say, "We did it," plastered around. We survived. We collectively faced this tough threat, but we got through it. I find those messages so heartwarming and supportive, and it makes me feel like I belong, like there's a community here. Similarly, Master Hugh at one point tells you,
"I knew you'd be back. Lay out your arms. Let's get smithing."
That always stuck with me. He knew I'd be back. He believed in me even if he told me he didn't. I never reformed that relationship with the person who caused the people I love so much harm. There were things there that I found I simply couldn't forgive them for. But Elden Ring taught me at least that while I was still holding out for an apology, holding on to that rage, that I wasn't going to be able to move forward. So I let go. The skies cleared and I was free to live again. I felt like I had ownership of my own life back. I could move on now. I still find myself thinking about that situation from time to time. It's hard not to. I still wish things had gone differently and we'd all been able to be friendly, but the actions of someone else just aren't in my control. Maybe they were always going to do what they did. It wasn't anyone's fault but theirs, so I can't let it control me any longer. I think I was wrong earlier when I said the Souls games taught me to give up. This was never about giving up. I think part of what makes letting go so hard is the idea that it is giving up. But no. Giving up means staying still, refusing to progress. But letting go, that's movement. It's how we move forward. Life is weird, messy, and often punishing, but it's also fast moving. You know, stay on the platform too long and the train will move on without you, only this time another won't follow. You'll be waiting forever for something that isn't coming. To continue your journey, to move forward, to find happiness again, is to let go of the platform railing and get on that train before it can pass you by. It's ironic that these games are called the Souls games, because the lesson they've taught me has helped heal my soul. It turns out the real Soulslike challenge isn't just in the games, it's in life. And just like in Elden Ring, sometimes the only way forward is to let go. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you so much for 5,000 subscribers. Please do consider joining our community on Discord, the link is in the description. I'd love to know down below about a game that's taught you a life lesson.